What is going on, guys? It's your boy Shay. Welcome to the video, and thank you so much for tuning in today. In today's video, I'm going to cover how to keep your gains during Ramadan. So let's dive right into it. What is Ramadan? Ramadan is a holy month for us Muslims who fast for 30 days from sunrise to sunset, and we can't have any water or any food during that time period. Basically, I would say it's a form of extreme intermittent fasting. I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with intermittent fasting, where you have an eating window of 6 to 8 hours and then the rest of the time you just fast, and during the non-eating window you can have water or coffee or basically anything that's 0 calories. But in Ramadan, we can't have any of that. So we can't have any water, we can't have any food, we can't even drink our own spit if you wanted to. So that's just an extreme scenario. But before I dive into the meat of the video, I want to discuss why we do it and what is the purpose behind Ramadan. So basically, it's a feel for people who don't have the stuff that we have. We get to eat 5 to 6 meals a day. We get to have clean water to drink, shelter. We get to drive a car. We get clean, nice clothes. Whereas there's people on this planet who don't even get one good meal per day while we are enjoying different kinds of foods per day. We get lots of clean water to drink, to shower from. Basically, we have so much water at our disposal, whereas there's people in parts of the world where they barely have any clean water to drink, let alone showers. So just to feel for those people, a lot of people don't even have shelter. They sleep on the streets. So it just kind of puts you into perspective and makes you think about all these luxuries that we have at our disposal, and just puts you into a good perspective, makes you very grateful, keeps you grounded. So I think it's a very noble purpose. And we do it every year. It's mandatory. I'm not sure what the age where you're supposed to start at, but it's supposed to be, I think it's 12 years old. I know I've been fasting since I was 12 years old. What can't we do? Like I said, you can't eat anything. You can't drink any water or any coffee or anything. You can't swear. You can't do any funny business, if you know what I mean. You can't think bad about other people. You have to abstain for everything wrong. These are just the basic requirements of it, and obviously pray. Thank God for what he has given us, basically. Gain perspective. The eating window in most parts of the world, it's about 7 to 8 hours, depending on what your sunrise to sunset duration is. Since I'm located in Canada and we follow Eastern Daylight Time in my region, we have a 7 to 7.5 hour window where we can eat and drink water. Our fast starts at about 4:15 to 4:30 a.m. It ends between 8:30 to 9, depending on how far we are into this month. So now let's dive right into the meat of this video, where I'm going to cover how to train, what nutrition approach to take, food choices and physical appearances, and everything you need to know in order to execute Ramadan properly and keep your gains during the next 30 days. I just kind of wanted to talk about my own experiences in Ramadan. I've been fasting for Ramadan since I was 12 years old. Now I'm 26, so I have a 14-year experience in fasting for Ramadan, and I've been training for 6 years now consistently, and I've been doing fasting in Ramadan and training during it during all those years. So I have that experience. I can definitely tell you that it's a huge mental test and a battle as well. So I mean, not everyone can last through it. It just makes you tougher at the end. That's how I feel. I've prepped during it. I've cut a lot of times during it. I've bulked during it. Ramadan was right in the middle of my last prep for my last physique show, and as it turns out this time, my show is on the same day as Eid, which is our version of Christmas. Without further ado, let's dive right into training. So right off the bat, I want to say, do not, I repeat, do not train while you're fasted in Ramadan, because you can get lightheaded, you can faint, it can cause dizziness, your muscles won't be functioning properly, it could cause blood pressure disruption. These are just a few side effects that you can face when you're fasting. And personally, I have trained. Even last year I was cutting and I was focusing on my training, because a lot of days my gym closes early, so I was just, putting in the work at the gym, and it just takes a lot of willpower, and I do have that, so it definitely helps. It definitely helps when you're training. So I would say stay away from the weights, stay away from cardio during it. Maybe do light walks, go for a light jog if you really feel the itch to be active. I would definitely suggest not training during the fast. It's just not fun when you're training. Most of us, we train because we enjoy it. It acts as our therapy, but if you're so drained and dehydrated during it, and your muscles need water to function properly, it won't be enjoyable. It won't be as much fun like it usually is when you're hydrated, when you have a bunch of food in your system. So that's one thing to keep in mind. That's crucial. As for what workouts to do, I would suggest, instead of doing your regular routine where you're doing, let's say, a push-pull legs or upper body, lower body, then repeat, or one muscle per day, that could cause a lot of stress in your body, and the recovery could really suffer since you're not drinking a lot of water, eating food throughout the day. So what I would suggest, the optimal training method for most people here would be doing full body routines, maybe 3 times a week. So I would say do a full body workout and then take a day off, or 2 days off and then repeat it, and then 2 days off and then repeat it, and then 2 days off. But that way you would hit each body part 3 times a week, and basically what you need in Ramadan is giving your muscles a stimulus so they have a reason to stay. Or I would say do an upper lower split 2 times a week. So I would say do upper body one day, then the next day do lower body, then maybe take 1 to 2 days off, then do upper body again, then do lower body the next day, and then 1 to 2 days again, and then just repeat the cycle. The key is to just be active. It doesn't have to be like super intense training where you're just like going for failure all the time. You just have to stay on track. You just have to give your body stimulus, like I said earlier on. You can do cardio. I would suggest doing cardio afterwards. You can go for walks just to keep your mind diverted. You can go for walks. You can go for jogs, light jogs, not, full balls to the wall sprints. Do some body weight work like squats, push-ups, pull-ups, whatever it is. If calisthenics is your thing, then do calisthenics, because it will help you be active and give your body the stimulus that it needs for the muscle to stay. And I'm going to give you a worst case scenario, which kind of applies to me in this case, since I'm on prep and my gym closes early on some days, so I have to make adjustments accordingly. So worst case scenario could be training an hour right before you break your fast so you can have water right after, because hydration is key. Again, guys, I cannot emphasize enough the importance of hydration. Most of our body functions run on water. Our muscles are made up of water, so if we take that away from the equation, then we are definitely bound to struggle in the gym and outside. Our performance will crash sooner or later. If you're in that worst case scenario, I would say that you execute your workout slowly, focus on your reps, slow and controlled. Do not rush your workouts. If you feel tired or lightheaded, I would suggest that you just stop the workout right there, because there's no point of overexerting yourself, because you're just going to do more damage to yourself. Basically, not only it's going to stop you physically, but you're going to have mental blocks thinking, oh my god, I can't do anything, or I can't achieve the workout or achieve the reps that I was able to before. So if you're not enjoying it, if you're feeling lightheaded or tired, just stop it right there. There's no need. It's a marathon, not a sprint. You remember that. And these short-term changes will not affect your long-term goals. Like I said earlier on, the goal here is to give your body a stimulus, give your muscles a stimulus for them to stay on your body. Just hit your numbers, and I would say train smart. Don't overexert. Your muscle function will be off if you train before you break your fast. So just keep that in mind. The last thing would be maybe lower your workout volumes, because this is a time where you're not hitting any PRs. I would definitely not suggest trying to hit PRs during Ramadan, because body just won't have that energy in it, because it'll be so drained throughout the day. In order to hit PRs, you need a good amount of nutrition, a decent amount of water in your body, all the minerals, electrolytes, and everything to be in place in order for you to perform to the best of your ability, be optimal, and be hitting the weights as heavy as possible. So what I would suggest is lowering down the training volume. What is training volume if you're not aware? Training volume would be your total number of exercises, your number of sets, your number of reps. So I would say on each exercise, just lower the volume by 1 set. So if you're doing 4 sets in an exercise, I would say doing 3 would be best. These changes would just be for this month, so like you can go back to your old routine once Ramadan is done, and you'll be in a better position to execute your training because you gave your body sort of a deload. It'll be less taxing on your body during this month. Okay, so for nutrition, we know that our window is 6 to 7 hours during the night, so we obviously gotta hydrate lots. So if you're an active individual, I would say take your weight in pounds and then times it in half. That's how many ounces you have to drink in order to maintain proper body function. So let's say I'm 160 to 155 pounds right now, so I'll divide that in half. So let's say the half of 160 would be 80 ounces, so I'll be drinking 80 ounces of water. I usually drink about a gallon of water per day or more, just to keep my body functions proper. Since the window of eating and drinking is roughly 6 to 7 hours in my area, we have quite a short window to take in all our food or macronutrients, aka your proteins, fats, and carbs. The optimal approach here will be to eat at maintenance calories and maintain your physique because these 30 days you're not going to gain much muscle or lose much fat. It's just going to make you very low energy. If you're trying to bulk up right now, I would say give your body a break, a well-deserved break, because digesting calories can be a very calorie expensive process, and it could be hard on your body during this time period, since if you're, let's say, eating 3,000 calories into 6-hour window, it could be quite a bit for your body to digest and process in that short window. Give your body a break, bring your calories down, as it could be taxing on your digestive system. Whereas if you're cutting, I would say bring your calories up to a maintenance level where body is given a nice little diet break, and you'll be better off after Ramadan, which will help you stay sane during the month. It will be more food to eat, to enjoy with your family and friends. You'll be in a better position after the month of Ramadan to burn fat. Your fat burning hormones will be optimized. There are exceptions like myself here in this case, where my show is right on the day of Eid, so right at the end of Ramadan. So I would be an exception here. I would have to continue my cutting phase because I'm 4 weeks out of my physique show in Houston and I can't flack hair. So that would be one exception where you could be cutting. So if you have an event that you're getting ready for, so a photo shoot, competition, anything that you have set a deadline for, those could be exceptions given that they're very important. If you're used to weighing yourself daily, then I would say that don't be disappointed when you see the numbers fluctuate, because the scale will fluctuate on a lot of different factors. It could be your sleep, it could be your water intake, it could be how much sodium you took. Timing of the last meal is key here, because you're eating at 4 a.m. here instead of eating your last meal around 10 or 12 or 8 p.m. or whatever, whenever you usually eat your last meal. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Even if you're cutting, bulking, if you're maintaining, I would say give yourself ballpark numbers, so, and not just get married to like one number. Okay, I have to hit 200 grams of protein to the dot. I have to hit 60 grams of fat, 300 grams of carbs to the dot. If I go one over or under, the sun won't come up tomorrow, or you know what I mean? So it's like, be more flexible in your approach. That will allow you to enjoy more meals with your family and friends and adhere better to your diet as compared to just stressing out over some protein, fats, and carbs, which are usually not worth it in this case. So I'll put up some examples of what you could do. So let's say if you're eating 160 grams of protein, 50 grams of fat, and 300 grams of carbs, I would say give yourself ranges of plus or minus 30 here and there. I'll just put an example on the screen. So let's discuss physical appearances during Ramadan. So you are going to look slightly different during this time period in the mirror, but don't sweat it, because these changes are just short term. They're temporary, they're only going to last 30 days, and trust me, you will be fine. The reasons why you will look different is, main thing is your food timing. You're going to be eating your last meal at 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. depending on where you're living. So that's going to make a huge impact on how you look. You know, you could be really bloated in the morning, or you could be flat depending on when you eat the last meal. Your belly could be full of water. You could look flatter, less full. Your muscles will look stringy. You won't look how you look throughout the year. Like I said, no need to sweat these changes. It's only temporary. So having said that, let's move on to food choices and how you can keep your gains while eating the foods you love. If I'm cutting, I usually depend on high volume foods a lot. Most of my meals are high volume. I use a lot of greens and fruits to fill my belly up, fill my stomach up, so I don't feel as hungry and feel more satiated. But you would do the opposite here in Ramadan. Since we have a shorter window here, you can't just be filling our stomach with high volume foods and be very full throughout, because that will just make us feel really uncomfortable, and we don't want that. I'd recommend bringing the food volume down, maybe incorporate a lot of high impact foods or high calorie foods. Since we have a shorter window, you can get away with that. I would say for proteins, you could use chicken, tuna, turkey, or any other kind of fish that is very high in protein per 100 grams. I wouldn't suggest red meat, because per 100 grams there is not a lot of protein. There's nothing wrong with it. You can have it if you want, but that's just my suggestion of what I think is optimal during this time period. You want to eat foods that are more high impact, so more bang for your buck, more protein per 100 grams. For fats, I would say use eggs, nut butters, oils, whatever it is. They could be really high impact, because since fat is calorie dense, you don't need a lot of volume for it to fill up your calories. So 1 tablespoon or 2 tablespoons of any nut butter like peanut butter, almond butter, could range from about 8 to 16 grams of fat. That could really help you hit your numbers for calories. I'm not a proponent of drinking my calories much other than smoothies, because I do enjoy them. I do not recommend them, but in this scenario of Ramadan, I would say definitely take advantage of it. You can use liquid calories like juices, smoothies, and protein protein shakes. They will help you ensure that you hit your numbers for the day if you're counting macros or if you're counting calories. If not, I would suggest eat in moderation and don't pig out, because that just makes you feel uncomfortable and then you regret it afterward. If you're someone who does not track calories or macros, I would say just enjoy this month with your family. Enjoy the foods you love and just spend quality time with them, because you don't get these 30 days for another 365 days. So I would say enjoy the time with your loved ones, enjoy the foods you love. In moderation, of course, because I'm a huge proponent of moderation. I always promote moderation, not deprivation. Let's say if you're looking for some food that you do want to enjoy, but you can't, let's say it's fried chicken or if it's samosas or whatever, that you're having a hard time tracking or, you know, you're stressing about it, what I would say is go on MyFitnessPal, look up whatever samosa, so it'll be like beef samosa or like vegetable samosa or whatever the dish be. Let's say fried chicken, right? If your mom's making fried chicken and you want to enjoy it within your calories, what I would say is you can go on MyFitnessPal and look up the worst case scenario here, not the best ones, because there'll be like 10 different kinds of food options when you look on MyFitnessPal, and they'll all differ in calories, differ in fat. So I want you to go search for the worst option with the most amount of fat and then use that as the option if you're that conscious about tracking and if you want to fit those foods in. If not, then just do moderation, enjoy yourself, and then carry on. And like I said, it's just 30 days. You can get back into your routine right after and everything will be a-okay. Before I forget, I want to focus on sleep. Do sleep well. Try to get 7 to 8 hours a day if you can, just for your body to act properly, to function properly during this time period. I hope this was really beneficial to you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, if you found it beneficial. Leave a comment below. It will help the channel bring my confidence up in making these videos. Thank you so much for watching again, guys. Take care, happy Ramadan, happy fasting, and I hope you follow all the rules that I said and you'll be golden. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace!